Alright, call to order. Flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I always want to say amen.
Yeah. Yes.
It does. Open Public Meetings Act statement. New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies of which any business affecting your interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place there posted at the Augusta, Branchville, Lafayette, and Sussex post offices, and notice sent to the New Jersey Herald, the Star Ledger, and the clerk of the boroughs of Branchville and Sussex, and the townships of Frankfort, Lafayette, and Wantage. Mission statement. High Point Regional High School, in partnership with staff, family, and community, is dedicated to the quest for individual excellence. By fostering high standards of achievement, we prepare students to become responsible and productive members of a diverse society. Roll call.
Mrs. Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Ancliffe.
Here.
Mr. Dunn is not here. Mr. Kehoe's not here. Ms. Keimer.
Here.
Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Nataro.
Here.
Mr. Veely.
Here.
Mr. Voicu is not here. Dr. Ripley.
Here. Executive session, a motion will be made. High Point Regional High School Board of Education or executive session to provide an update on personnel, legal, and negotiations items which are exempt from public participation pursuant to New Jersey Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Open Public Meetings Act. Any discussions held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public when appropriate. Minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. The board will reconvene in public session in the cafeteria annex at the conclusion of the executive session. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Need a motion to return to public session?
Come on, we have a birthday cookie party?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll move on to the approval of minutes for the regular meeting of November 20, 2018, and the executive session minutes of November 20, 2018. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Ancliffe.
Yes.
Mr. Dunn.
Yes.
Ms. Keimer.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Abstain.
Mr. Nataro.
Yes.
Mr. Veely.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to public comments on agenda items only. If you have a comment, step to the podium, state your name and address in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. We will open the public comment for agenda items only at this time. Mr. Speaker should state his or her name, address, 3 minutes to address the board. At the time of the meeting, we will limit this section to no longer than 45 minutes. Please be respectful and mindful that your comments are being recorded. Anyone? Anybody? All right. Presentations, Dr. Ripley.
Mr. Voicu, who's been on the board as a member, as a representative of Frankfurt for 3 years. He's not here this evening, however, I will thank him and speak a few words. A tremendous commitment as a board member, involved in our committees, involved in security, involved in many of the initiatives we've implemented, and the processes of the last 3 years. As I've said this many times, the job of a board member is a thankless job. God bless you for doing it, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of pressure, and it's not always something for which board members get a large amount of affirmation. And so I just want to say thank you to Mr. Voicu. Good luck in his future, and you will be missed, and you were a valuable member that we enjoyed spending the time with. Thank you very much, Mr. Voicu. And Mr. Nataro, we have a plaque here for you, sir, representative of Montague. I mean, Montague. It's a Monday. I'm sorry. I've been doing that a lot, but not always with that particular term. Representative from Wantage, a longtime member of the High Point family, having been here when I first started working here in the 90s. He was already working here. He has been a part of the High Point community as a resident, as an employee, as a member of the community, as a fan of High Point, and someone whose fingerprints are on the history of High Point. And that's something for which, Mr. Notaro, I'm hopeful that you are very proud, and something for which you, it's affirming to you that you have played a role in this institution's 52-year history. And I'm hopeful that it is something that you look back fondly, because your impact has been significant over the years in all those capacities. And as a board member, it has been a positive experience, and you have been an asset to the board, and we want to thank you for your commitment and say good luck, and hope to hear from you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor to represent Wantage Township and to be on the board, and I found this a very enlightening experience. And I may be back.
Student Council, Ms. Laura White, Speaker of the House.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah. Hello. Hi. So we recently, well, Fill the Bus is coming up this Thursday, so as a club, we collected cans and attendance for the past 2 meetings to donate to the fundraiser. And we just got done with our hallway decorations and shades. Very nice. To get the school with the holiday spirit. The juniors took first place with the hallway down there, and the seniors and sophomores tied for second, and the freshmen got third place. This past Saturday, we had our annual holiday bazaar, and we brought in about $450 after our expenses, and we had 22 vendors, and overall it was a very nice success. And then lastly, we just donated to the annual Pretty in Pink basketball game for breast cancer for $100, and that'll take place in January. That's all. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Instead of Carla presenting, Dr. Kenny will come to the
So? Very simple tonight. The High Point Educators Association has really nothing official to report. However, we'd like to extend happy holidays to the board, administration, general public. Okay? And also we'd like to keep in our hearts the poor persons who have ailing family, or those who have suffered recently.
Thank you. All right, principal report, Mr. Talaman.
Apologize for the.
Are you going to turn that on for?
Apologize for being tired, but it's holiday spirit. You got this place. It's another Saturday, so I had to borrow this from somebody. I didn't have this in my closet, but what I was saying, she was short.
We don't believe that part at all.
I believe that's
So,
yours. I do think it's yours.
Yeah, no, this is a classic ugly sweater, no doubt for sure. Tomorrow's Santa Hat Day. In the spirit, as you walk through the hallways, I know it's a little bit hard to keep everything decorated up there, and if you can't take me serious, it's okay, because co-parents today, I just can't take you serious with that thing around your neck, blinking, so we had some good times. So, great time to be a Wildcat this week, a lot of great things going on. Lauren hit on a bunch of things already for the student side of it. I was going to give you some quick updates and then move on to the athletic report. On this past week, we had the Chamber Singers and Jazz Ensemble. They sung on WSUS. If you got a chance to catch that or not, that was Monday and Tuesday. And of last week, did a great job on that. And thank you to WSUS for their partnership. I think this is the third year that we've had both or one of those groups there. And they invite schools from around the county to come and do a little show. So if you didn't get a chance to check it out, you can go back online. They have the archives and the Steve Andrews link, I believe, for that. We have had many community visits by our chamber singers and choir throughout the last really 2 weeks. Today they're in center districts, and they hit 3 districts in one day. And if you follow along on Twitter, you saw all the posts from all the student, social media ambassadors presenting and saying how great it was to be back in their old district, showing videos of our chamber singers and our band playing in those districts. So it's really a nice thing to see that again. The social media with the social media ambassadors, it's great to see that live. The principals are tweeting out their response. Thank you for having them. Thank you for coming to our school. Thank you for allowing students to be here. It's really a great opportunity for our students there as well. We also had the Candlelight Concert and the Holiday Pops Concert, so it's been a busy time for our theater, performing arts, and jazz ensemble programs. We also had the Arrow Code in all ascending districts that was led by Mr. Brian Jellick, Mr. Brian Emma, Mr. Chris Dexter, and Mr. Gary Ducko. Thank you to them for their work and their diligence with that. Great time had by all. The students were really engaged and they really had a great time. Our kids would go down as well, so it was a nice time in December. As Ms. Weiss already told us, the Fill the Bus is coming on Thursday. We have a tremendous Fill the Bus committee. I welcome any of you to come in if you'd like. Thursday morning we're going to start about 8:30. We do like a split session for 2 different classes, so it's not everybody at once. We actually line everybody up from the cafeteria right down the main hallway and out past the auditorium up the back ramp out that door. The bus backs right up there. We have about 25 or 30 students on the committee, and they're working hard to help our own community, because everything that gets donated goes to the local food pantry in Sussex County, right in Newton, and that gets delivered to the families. And it's an amazing amount of need, amazing amount of food that comes in, and within weeks that food is gone. And as they say, the pantry, it's not who you think is coming into the food pantry. It's everyday people that are in your own community. So we're doing the best that we can to help with that. Tomorrow we're heading down to Augusta Preschool down in Irvington, which is our partner school for what we call Tilly's Kids. And Tilly's Kids is an organization run by a name Pastor Tilly is actually the organizer of it, and she organizes these events where schools have partnerships with each other and they provide gifts and a little bit of joy for other students. So we're going to go down there. We're going to be about 60 kids down there tomorrow of our own students. We have a busload of presents going down and some snacks, and we'll spend a couple hours there at Augusta Preschool. And then we're excited to have us come down. That's led by Pastor Long, our student group here. It's a group that coincides with that as well. So we're excited about that. We'll bring some holiday cheer to them, and then we're hopeful that they can come back up in the spring. We've done that a couple times. But contingency last year didn't really help us out. We had a little bit of snow last year, so I don't know if you remember that or not. They like to come back up in the spring and they like to see our musical. We give them a preview of that. So that's our goal. It's really nice to have a partnership with a school like that and be able to do things together. And our kids really look forward to it greatly. Another couple of things that are coming up in January as we move to that time of year. 8th grade open house. Amazing, we're talking about that already. That'll be January 10th. So we're looking forward to that. Again, welcome to anybody. It's all parents and students. Feel free to come. It's 6 o'clock is the start time. And we're going to kick that off with our activity fair in the gym before we go into the auditorium. The district music night and music and art celebration night is January 17th. That is a packed house and auditorium. That's all of our city districts are invited, all choir members, band, and they just do a phenomenal job of rotating students in and out of the auditorium and getting everybody on stage. It's just a fantastic picture at the end of the night. We have the whole entire district up there singing together. So we're also going to have a lot of art displays throughout the hallways. It's a combined effort, so it's on January 17th at 7 o'clock. For that. Some student acknowledgements. Elise Keel was recently recognized. Her artwork was selected. She's actually a photographer in Mrs. Sheenay's class, and her photography was selected for the Drexel University Photography High School Contest exhibition. And her gallery is going to be on display in March, in February, beginning of March, on 33rd and Arch Street. It's a beautiful display. If you've seen it, and we sent it out in the email. It's a beautiful display, and Lisa did a great job with that with help from Mrs. Sheenay's our outstanding staff members. Elise and Robbie Sweetsworth also were selected for the Waldo Valley Media Tech selection for their video. If you have not seen it, check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. It's A Day in the Life of Sussex County. And they did a really nice job of a mix of that. A Day in the Life of Sussex County. It's on our YouTube channel. You can go right to the Media Tech channel to see that. And it really presents a lot of what our county represents. They did a great job with that, and they received an award for that. We also have our first nomination for what we call ROCK, which Mrs. Leduc has brought to us. ROCK is respect, ownership, character, and kindness. And it's a new positive endorsement. We've always had positive awards for students. This is going to represent something so much more. Mrs. Leduc brought that to us, and our first nominees will be awarded this week. It's basically recognizing students based on staff members' nominations of kids doing the right things all the time. And sometimes they don't get recognized for those types of things. And we feel it's important as we build a positive culture to have those students recognized. So thank you, Mrs. Duke, for getting this organized. We're going to be awarding that to them starting probably tomorrow or the next day. We can get them all lined up. Last but not least, for the student side of it, the hydrogen fuel cell competition. I don't know if you saw the email on that or not. That was Mr. Carlo came back and we had some outstanding places with that. Behind the name, Team Backyardigans, for the first place finishing in engineering. Avi Marsh, Sherry Leslie, Tyler Ross, and Nick Sunday. They were first place in engineering. Last year they were second place as a team, so it's great to see them have a lot of growth in this year's competition. And Team Hprhs, second place engineering, second place craftsmanship. Max Aronot, Mike Kishak, Frank Roman, and Kyle Bruno. So good job with those kids, and thank you, Mr. Cardinal, for bringing that down as well. Any questions on that before I move to athletics? That's okay? Good. Okay. So for athletics, we had some exciting time periods. Just going to go through a couple key things. I think we have some kind of event scheduled tomorrow in the gym or something like that. It's a pretty packed house that's coming up for wrestling. The wrestlers had a great weekend as well this weekend at the Cole Classic. Good start. We also had 2 national letters of intent signings in the last couple weeks. Jackie Harnett signed with UConn, plays soccer, and Jordan Sissio signed with Cedar Crest College, plays soccer as well. So we had both of those celebrations and signs with the parents. That's pretty cool. They didn't have the parents come in, and siblings and friends and uncles and whoever else wanted to come in for that part for. So you may have seen that posted in the Herald. The Herald actually did a nice job, although they spelled the names wrong. For who was going, did a nice job in terms of showing the whole county, and I think that was a couple weeks ago that was in place. I'm not going to read all the names for all the all-conference awards for the fall teams because it's quite lengthy. It's about 2 pages long, but I do want to let everybody know that we had 19 first team selections. This is all-conference, all NJAC, 17 second team selections, and 7 honorable mentions. So the all NJAC awards were announced for all of our fall teams, and we know we had a great fall team accomplishments overall, but it's nice to see some of these student athletes recognized for the individual excellence as well. So that was a great thing. In addition to that, we also had 2 All-State awards. Tyler Wingle in field hockey, second team All Group 2, and football Joe Burke, third team All Group 2. So again, that's the next level of accomplishments for them. And finally, we had some winter updates as we roll into the winter season. Girls swimming is 2-1 record. Boys are 3-0. Girls basketball is 1-1. Boys basketball lost a tough opener to Milwaukee on Friday night. Great crowd, great packed house, so many there in their own 1. Bowling is 0-4. They're working hard. The Kegglers rebuilding this year, working hard. Wrestling Cole Classic champions as a team beat out Toms River North overall, and we had a champion Clay Nutter 106, Devin Legal 113, Devin Flannery 120, Brandon Rue 126, Billy Towers 138, and Brian set out on 160. We swept about 5 weights there. Ice hockey had a fantastic victory on Saturday against Newton Lenape, and they were 2-3-2. Skiing has not quite had enough snow to get started, but they're close. Mount Creek just opened up. And I heard that our goalie for ice hockey had about 60 saves that night. They call him the wall. So if you get a chance to play at Skylands ice arena, it's cold, so make sure you bring a jacket. All right? It's a lot of saves.
That's a lot of saves.
I don't think there was that. That was pretty much where it was at.
I didn't know, was that career or for one game? I don't know, obvious, is
That
that?
was 1 game, yep. It was like Martin Brodeur back there. Any questions for me? Yes, sir.
Just one comment, no questions. Okay, after that. I just want to say I thought it was nice that the sports awards this year were brought back to the high school, where everyone kind of came together and then broke out into their respective areas to recognize all the athletes. It was nice to see because everyone, as you mentioned, there's a lot of first team, second team, and honorable mention, and they all kind of got recognized in front of their peers, which I think is always a good thing. And I understand the MVPs for the fall sports will be still done at the Hall of Fame. When some of us were still here in high school, we used to do that all in one night, which was pretty cool because that was like the end of it. But anyway, I just want to let you know, I don't know if you had any feedback. I thought it was well done, and I thought Mr. Van Orn did a good job, and it was just nice to see everyone back together.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Moore, for that feedback. That's all Mr. Van Orn, 100%. His vision was to bring that back to that community feel. We were talking about a lot of positive feedback that we had from the parents that night and afterwards was just that. Like I said, that community feel.
Yeah.
See who else is recognized in different sports, and then break out and do your own individual thing after all, and then the big awards to get announced and all.
Yeah.
Thank you for the feedback. Mr. Van Orn did a fantastic job with organizing that. It's a lot to organize and manage and find a date, and that's the first important thing. We're going to try to do a little bit earlier next year, but just to catch up between seasons is difficult to get the most participation. Thank you. We'll pass that on.
Thank you.
And thank you to the board and to the board office for the support of the holiday party coming on Thursday. So we got the filibuster in the morning, holiday party in the afternoon. We're excited about that. We appreciate that, and just wish everybody happy and safe holidays. Thank you. Happy Baby Brothers license once again.
Mr. Campbell.
Thanks, good evening. Just want to reiterate that I thought it was fantastic that our sports awards came back. And Mr. Talman, what a fantastic job that he does organizing to fill the bus. I encourage anyone who's interested to take him up on an offer to come in Thursday and pass some cream corn down the line. It's a communal experience that's very special and very much in sync with the holiday spirit. Very excited that our Performing Arts Department has chosen Blue Man Group for,
Still no.
as you walked in, I was on the phone with Mr. Yardley. That is a brand new bulb, and he was quite befuddled that we're still having this problem. So I assure you it was addressed immediately. Unfortunately, we are still rather blue. But that was a great thing. I'd like to thank Mrs. Anderson for nudging the district, and me in particular, to do more career-oriented, career-focused activities. We meet once a month in our curriculum committee meeting, and we talk about these types of things. And last year at this time, we announced that in our course catalog, we were going to have internships in every discipline for any senior student that wished to have an experience outside of work and earn credit for it towards graduation. And tonight we recognize our first intern, Nick Thomas, who got the front page of the New Jersey Herald today. Last week got multiple free slices of pizza and a $50 gift card from his crew at Sussex Rural. So I'd like to invite Nick up just for a moment to share with the board a little bit about his experiences.
I'm going to guess that if you had a photo of the pizza, it had blue pepperoni slices on it. That's just thinking.
This is true.
Well, thank you everyone for helping out with this. I want to thank Mr. Campbell, Chris Reese down at Sussex Rural Electric, and Mr. Drellick for helping put this program together. I know it's the first year we've ever done this, and personally I think it was a great success. I really think it can be replicated moving into the future, not only for engineering, which is the field I selected, but finance, marketing, anything a student really wants to get into. When I was looking at the course catalog initially, I saw that there was an internship, and I didn't know of anyone who had done it before, so I approached Mr. Campbell and Mr. Drellick about it, and a few months later we ended up grinding out this program and really setting it in stone. And after I recently completed it a few weeks ago, I can say the experience, I've never had anything like it, and as a student who is hopefully pursuing engineering in the future, the experience it gave me was hands-on and real world. You can sit in the classroom all day, but until you actually get out there and see what engineers do, you have no clue what being an engineer is like. So I'm really thankful for everyone who helped put this program together, and I'm grateful that you guys allowed me to actually partake in this program.
Nick, I just want to say thank you, because without you doing this, because you're the trailblazer, you're the guy that said, I'm going to take advantage of this. And I know you had a family connection, which is great, but by you going out there and putting yourself on the line, you kind of forced Sussex Rural Electric to say, all right, and it all came together, and you're the catalyst in that. You're the guy that made this happen so that it's going to happen again and again and again. So I really appreciate what you did. Also, I appreciate that you did it because one of my pictures in the paper today. That was good.
Well, from Sussex Rural End, I don't know, my father is the chief electrical lineman there, and having that connection was very helpful for establishing the program. They were the first company that came to mind when I was thinking of an internship. And I've known everyone down there the majority of my life, so they were very helpful. But they're also very open to kids whose family members don't work there. But it was very helpful that they know me so well going into it.
And as Rafferty said, well, if we had some downtime, it's okay. He sat in that office before. He understands how it works. So it was really a great first experience for all of us. And like I said, I think deserve a ton of credit for going through this. And as you said, you had to grind it out with your teaching staff to get that to happen the right way, so. it's awesome.
Block scheduling made that easier.
Possible too. Good.
I wouldn't be missing the same class every day. And all my teachers were very understanding of it. They understood the importance and the value to it. So I have to thank all of them for allowing me to do that.
What are your plans for college?
I was just accepted to Cornell School of Engineering, and electrical engineering.
Good luck.
Any other questions on the program?
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
When we went down and had lunch with them last week, all 10 or 12 people in that photo went around the room, and each person talked about the lesson that they oversaw with Nick. So Ms. Raffe, Claudia Raffe, is a force. She designed, along with Chuck Pike, the lead engineer, the bulk of the program. But as Nick said, it's tailored now where it could be someone who wants to focus on marketing, someone who may want to be a lineman, because they could basically kind of plug into whatever a student's interest is. These 90-minute or 2-hour blocks, leave here in the afternoon, come back. So we're excited. Great job.
Thank you.
Another Herald article, we had a very successful week with getting some very positive press. So I believe I've shared an article with you. Mr. Aldo Diodino is the force behind this. Our AP Capstone program that we're really proud of, our students do unique college level, sometimes graduate level research. And when you do graduate level research, you need to have your research approved by an institutional review board, which is a very onerous, thorough process. We will be the first school in the area that now have our own IRB. High Point graduate Katie McNamara, a psychologist from Sparta, Dr. Alexander Miller, and a science professor, Dr. Castro, the father of Morgan Castro, who graduated recently, are our 3 community members on the IRB. And we hope that in addition to reviewing student research and guiding student research, they can serve as somewhat of an advisory crew for teachers and for students in general. So it's exciting to have our students sit down and present their research proposals with experts who have doctorate level degrees who can advise them, and it's exciting. In response, the County College SCCC has requested that one of our faculty members serve on their IRB. So Mr. Diodino, who was behind the formation of this, will now be a member of the local college IRB. So we're very proud of him and proud of this and what it means for our students. Our program of studies, we have some fantastic aerial footage from our drone program. Thank you, Mr. Fenlon. That was chosen to be our cover shot, but it's really such a beautiful campus, and the drone really captures it quite well. It's a little better when the coloring's different, but it is really spectacular. We do not have a significant number of changes to our program of study this year. I would like to point out that we continue to emphasize a couple core principles. One is access, and something we've dubbed the REACH curriculum. We are incredibly proud of the philosophy that all students have access to any course regardless of their ability. Teachers recommend students, guidance counselors recommend students. With care and thought, they suggest where a student should be. But then that student and that student's parents have the ultimate say as to whether or not they take an honors course or an AP course, etc. And we have tripled the number of students that take advanced courses. And our philosophy, my philosophy to some extent, is with 33 AP courses, if you plan to earn a 4-year college degree, we have to make sure you're at least taking 1, maybe 2. We don't need you taking 8 necessarily. There's some kids that are, but we have the opportunity to put college-bound students in a really rigorous academic environment, and that's open to all students. Mr. Talame, Mr. Carter, Mrs. Lembo, it's a whole team that puts together the master schedule, and student choice drives it. The program of studies that is being submitted for approval tonight is the most robust listing of courses in the county. We get calls all the time for people to hear about these amazing courses. They don't all run, but it's the students drive what runs. If the students want it, it runs. So it's a very democratic system in that sense. A couple small changes. Cybersecurity has been a popular request for several years. That will be in the catalog, and I'm confident that will run. Music Technology 3, we invested heavily in facilities for that. And hats off to our teachers, because as our enrollment changes and our staffing is in flux, what our passionate teachers do to support these programs is take on the challenge of teaching multiple level courses in the same room, the same period. So Music Technology 3 will likely run the same period as Music Technology 2. And it takes a lot of work for our teachers to do that. So we're very proud of their passion and commitment. World language, we're trying to create a pathway where in German, French, and Spanish, the fourth year will have the option of honors or an accelerated AP. Now again, if there's only 14 students that sign up for the fourth year, honors and AP will be taught in concert in the same period. If we have 15 and 15, perhaps they run as independent courses. But we want to provide students multiple or a maximum amount of choice. American Sign Language will almost certainly run next year. It will be a pilot year, it will be a virtual program. One of the things we hope American Sign Language will be able to do in 2021 is to have an entry level for students who are not strong at world language and can fulfill their one-year requirement through American Sign. As we know from student sign-ups the last few years, it's incredibly popular. Students are excited about taking it, and we think it could be an elective that complements an accelerated student, or it could be a really good fit for a student who is not strong at world language and that would fulfill their requirement. A few changes. There is one small change to Algebra 1. Math is in flux every year. Sussex Wantage this year has almost all of their 8th graders in Algebra 1. Well, as our 8th grade sending districts change the math their students receive, we need to be responsive and work in concert with them. So we're modifying that just a little bit. AP World History is being revised, and Spanish is eliminating the B level for entry level. All Spanish 1 students will be in the same class. And I think our world language teachers who are exceptional will really embrace that pedagogical teaching challenge of differentiating for kids in multiple levels. Our document remains a work of art. Mrs. Lembo was the force behind Hprhs. It's interactive. There are videos and pictures and links and clicks, and we get a lot of questions from districts around the state that ask us how we did it. I'm not trying to take credit for it. Okay? Mrs. Lembo helped created it. Mr. Giudino, Mr. Drell, now that we have it set up, it's a very nice presentation. We're now calling it the Program of Studies. I believe that's a little bit more of an academic term than the course catalog. In the Program of Studies, our layout for our pathways is in there. Our pathways, just a reminder, is a communication tool to try and have students look at courses when they sign up and feel a connectedness to a potential career. It is not a commitment that if I lock in all in public safety but I want to be an engineer, I'm blocked out. It's simply saying, I really like this course. What other 2 or 3 electives could I take that might complement that as I consider majoring in art or I consider majoring in business, etc. So we're excited about that, and we're currently shopping for some new graduates to be our poster figures for those certain areas. I think. Oh, one more thing, sorry. PSATs. I want to commend our guidance department. I met with them last Monday to discuss the dissemination of scores. And they had a plan that was top-notch. They went into every single classroom and spoke to every single student in the school about how to access their scores. And the reason they did that is because with the PSAT, we purposely decided not to give the students paper copies of their scores. A paper copy gets looked at, you glance at it, maybe it makes it home to mom and dad, maybe it doesn't. If they sign on to their College Board account, they are now linked in to Khan Academy, and when they do get that motivation to really gear up for the SATs, they have customized practice plans that are personalized to their performance. So we want the students to see their scores on the online portal, and there's a letter on the website today that directs parents to speak to their child. We don't want parents creating their own College Board account. We want them to speak to their child. It could be a bonding experience where they go on and they look at the scores together. So, Mr. Dunn, I think you said you were...
Yes, so what the notice went out at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. I had my 2 daughters' reports by 10.
Nice.
And I'm sure they enjoyed me telling them their reports before they were able to tell me.
No doubt they were thrilled by that. I'm a little disappointed because I added some nice green and red to our social media posts. Bigger and better, more and more districts contacting us for feedback. Our new social media ambassadors are tweeting away. It's nonstop all day. You don't have to live on there. Once a day, plug in for 5 minutes and just flip through what's happening. Our performing arts students have been all over the county. Mr. Talman mentioned they were at WSUS. They were at Frankfurt School today. They've been to Montague, they've been to Frankfurt, they've been all SNE districts. They did a Rotary. They're on tour. And they're great ambassadors for the school. The Media Center is festive. Book Love is large and in charge right now. We have an English department really promoting choice and trying to develop lifelong lovers of reading. Naturally, it's the holiday season, so World Toilet Day is a big event in the holiday season. Our science department continues to embed civics into their curriculum. The awareness that they raise about recycling, about pollution. Dr. K, congratulations. Your department leads really an environmental movement, from our refilling stations to awareness of the developing world. Our students have this social consciousness fostered by that department, so thank you. That's, by the way, Mrs. Retz was chosen. The kids put change in a dish of who they want to see wrapped in toilet paper, so she was the toilet queen of the day. So, a lot of fun here. Again, think about coming out Thursday. It's the event of the year. As Mr. Talman said, we love communal. And when 900 students and 100 teachers line up and pass the cream and corn, it kind of feels special. Musical tours, we're out and about. Toys for Tots, many of them made here in our tech department. I think we just talked about that. Hallway decorating contest. Working here. Batteries are running low. Crafts. Pride, celebrating recovery and having a cookie bake sale. A lot of service work here. And last, you can't really appreciate it, but it was indeed ugly sweater today. And there's our main office staff. So that's great. Very good.
Thank you, sir. There's 2 things that I wanted to reiterate regarding the presentation by Mr. Campbell. The first being our continued effort to focus on data to inform instruction. So when we now utilize the data from the PSAT to give each child a personalized access through the Khan Academy, whether so that they can, the areas that they demonstrate strength or weakness, they have a personalized pathway so as to be able to raise their scores. And so we're linking these different components as we're doing the curriculum through assessment and trying to utilize data. So this was an excellent way of looking at that as one of our goals this year. The other thing I wanted to address was when Mr. Campbell discusses a REACH curriculum. We believe in that to such a degree that I think we tend, and I'm extremely guilty in this, and I recognize that we don't sufficiently enough emphasize
that when we refer to REACH curriculum, we're not just speaking about AP classes. We're talking about every child having access to the least restrictive educational environment for them. That means a child who previously may have been in a self-contained classroom can now have access to other rigorous curriculum that would be a reach for them, even if that's not AP. And so what that does is it fosters a degree of self-confidence and self-efficacy in children that research is clear will lead to academic success and success beyond school. So we frequently discuss our vast AP curriculum, which is second to none, but that mentality of REACH curriculum is not relegated singularly to the AP REACH curriculum, but for all students to reach to that which is the least restrictive and the REACH for them. And that's something I think we need to, and I in particular, need to do a better job of communicating to our community and to our board. Thank you.
Other business? I don't think we have anybody have any. All right, we'll move on to action items, curriculum instruction. Leah?
Okay. Items 1, 2, and 3, we have the faculty attendance rate, the student attendance rate, and the suspension report for November. I'd like to move items 4 through 8. 4 is harassment, intimidation, and bullying report. 5, the curricular and student activities field trip. 6, professional development activities. 7 is the program of studies that we just heard about. And 8 is to approve the creation of the institutional review board, which we also heard about. So I'm moving items 4 through 8. I need a second.
Second.
Okay. Any comments? I have one. I'm very impressed with the IRB, the Institutional Review Board. That's a big deal, and I know it took a lot of work. I know that it starts with that course that's the AP. I don't know the name of it now. No, but the part that has to do with research. What's it called?
Well, seminar and then research.
There's the research part.
Right.
It's not the seminar part, which is also wonderful. But the research part is where this all of a sudden, once you're going to do this, you needed to have the IRB. So I think Heather Gonzalez was teaching that. She's like, how are we going to do this?
Right.
We need to do this. So this is a grassroots movement. You guys have put the capstone program in place. Now the teachers are saying, how do we make this work? Their supervisor, Aldo Diodino, makes it happen. Teacher says, I need this. Supervisor said, yep. And then it just pushes up to the top, and you guys really did a nice job getting this done, and it's very impressive, very impressive. So I applaud all y'all. That's my comment. Anybody else? Roll call.
Mr. Ancliffe.
Yes.
Mr. Dunn.
Yes.
Ms. Carmer.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Notaro.
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Mr. Beasley.
Yes. Personnel, Mr. Doe.
Certainly. So under personnel, we have 3 items. I'd like to move 1 through 3 together. I'll make a motion to approve number 1, which is extended sick and FMLA leave of absence for employee 156. Item 2, approve the extended sick and FMLA leave of absence for employee 291. And item 3, to accept with regret the retirement notification of Paul McAllister, Executive Administrative Assistant to the Superintendent. Second. Okay. Any discussion on items 1 through 3?
I would personally like to speak about the almost 30 years of commitment and service and professionalism of Ms. Paula McAllister to the High Point Regional District. She came in under Dr. Godfrey as his administrative assistant in the curriculum office. Worked there for several years. It's nice to have links to the past and what really enables you. Your history matters. Who you are as an institution, and institutional history matters. And Ms. McAllister being a link to the regime or the leadership of Dr. Godfrey and Mr. Art Smith, who are legends in the community and in the district,
and Ms. McAllister was there. And she has been an asset to the extent that I cannot communicate. Involved in every human resource, licensure, everything, so much that I don't even know with some of the stuff that she does. And she has been deeply committed to the success of this institution. I cannot, words escape me to be able to describe my personal affection and respect, and my respect for her as a member of this institution and this community for what she has committed over those years. And we greatly appreciate it as a community and as a district. Thank you, Paul.
Any other discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Encliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Beely?
Yes. All right, extracurricular, one being recommended by the superintendent that the board approve the individuals listed as volunteer advisors for the clubs as listed. That would be Lisa Frisbee, Carl Mancuso, Marie Sullivan, and Stacy Zarem for those groups listed. Any motions? So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the only item there? All right, roll call.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Encliffe?
Yeah.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Beely?
Yes. All right, policy. We don't have any policies for us. Negotiations, even though it says there's nothing there. Dr. K, if you could just relay to the powers that be on your negotiations team there that we just have to wrap up the last few things for your contract and get that finalized and done. I know the MOA is signed for the guides and whatnot, and I know that you guys just finished up reviewing and verifying all of the numbers.
We're in the middle of it.
You're
We're in the middle of reviewing the proposed caveats.
Okay, so that's where you guys are at right now, but, we'd like to wrap that up. So whenever I can meet, whenever you guys are available, just send that an email. Thank you, sir. John, you will be opening up in this year for the AA contract. So we will schedule a meeting with you, probably sometime in January to go over all that stuff. Because we'd like to have that wrapped up as quick as possible, so, all right. And, those other items, just toss them all together and we'll talk about it. All right? Buildings and grounds, even though it's your super committee, there's somebody that wants to talk about buildings.
Yeah, I know.
But we don't have anything to talk about.
Really? All right. All right, we'll move on to finance. Items 1 through 10. Number one being recommended by that we accept the report of the board secretary and business administrator, attachment G1. Number 2, recommended that we accept the report of the treasurer, attachment G2. Number 3, recommended that we approve the report of transfers and minimum expense transfer report. Number 4, recommended that we approve payment of the attached bills. 5, recommended that the board accept the agency account, adult education, athletic account, cafeteria account, principal petty account, petty cash account, school storage, student accounts. Number 6, recommended that we approve the following tuition contract. Number 7, recommended that the board approve the disposal of an old slicing machine. It was purchased for the cafeteria in September. Number 8, recommended that the board approve the comprehensive maintenance plan for the fiscal year 2018-2019, attachment G6. Number 9, recommended that the board approve the annual required maintenance budget worksheet for fiscal year 2018-2019, attachment G7. And number 10 is a resolution for the purchase of a new bus with all that verbiage attached, which I will not read. Negative, but for I will not be reading that. So I need a motion on items 1 through 10.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on 1 through 10?
Is that slicer going to the gov auction deal?
I will ask, I'm not sure if it is or not.
No. Thank you.
You got a good deal after the first of the year.
Keep it back, yeah.
I was gonna say, it's gonna go.
Talk about this good thing that we did about the bus.
The lease purchase, 5-year lease purchase for a new school bus. We went out to proposal and the low bidder was 3.77%, which I think is excellent. We did it through the Middlesex County Co-op. They helped do it for us, and I think they had a fixed processing administrative fee for the whole deal of $650. So June was happy, and the bus is being put together with all of our specs, and it should be ready about March.
Well done.
Roll call. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ancliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes. Great, transportation, Mr. Miller.
Okay, I will move items 1 through 10. 1 being the evacuation drills for the 2018-19 school year as listed. 2, for the joint transportation agreements for 2018-19 school year where High Point's the host, the joiner is Walkill Valley as listed. Item number 3, the joint transportation agreements for special education routes for the 2018-19 school year, where again High Point is the host and the joiner is Walkill Valley. Item number 4, the joint transportation agreement for a route for the 2018-19 school year at $164.44 per day times 140 days for a total route cost of $23,021.60. Where Bridgewater Raritan is the host and High Point is the joiner. Item number 5, a contract addendum for additional mileage for the remainder of the 2018-19 school year as listed. Item number 6, for the contract addendum for additional mileage for the addition of a student for the remainder of the 2018-19 school year, again as listed. Item number 7, the board approves to award the following quoted special education routes to the contractor with the lowest quote for the 2018-19 school year as listed. Item number 8 is for quoted contracts for trips for the 2018-19 school year, again as listed. Item number 9, joint transportation agreement for the 2018-19 school year where the host is Vernon Township and the joiner is High Point Regional. And finally, item number 10, for the adjustment to the following substitute pay rate for the 2018 school year, substitute bus driver for a pay rate of $22. So looking for a second.
Second.
Questions? Call.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ancliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Ms. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes.
All right, correspondence, we don't have anything before us. Miscellaneous, Ms. Anderson, you want to discuss the festivities?
Yes, the festivities are this Thursday from 1 to 3. I have been given some donations from board members that were available last month and one today. So if you have a $20 bill on it and like to throw it my way, I'm good. But I think it's going to be nice. I like doing this. It's going to be fun. And it's always fun to be down in the media center. And I would also like to say that Mrs. Fenlon graciously lets go of her media center. I know it's not hers, it's the buildings and the communities, but she lets go of it. And I always get a lot of help from the kids that are sitting in there in the study hall just prior to us. So they move tables and help set up and get stuff out of my car. So it's always a fun time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Time I put into that.
All right, public comments on anything? Well, no, you're good. You're the only one, so.
I know.
All right. Non-committee board member reports and comments, anybody?
Yeah, I'll mention that Mr. Kehoe and I, not here, but we both attended the Sussex County School Board's meeting last Wednesday, and Senator Hprhs was the guest speaker and spoke about a little bit about the commission that the study group that made some recommendations about how the state will come up with some savings. And the different areas, and particularly the areas that related to education. It was interesting to hear. I think some of the insights that he presented weren't widely known. And always good to, one of the purposes of the meetings was to afford board members the ability of how to network, how to approach, or how to communicate with public officials in government, and certainly served that purpose.
Did you tell them what you thought?
A few people did have some comments. I did not raise any of my own. But yeah. I think one of the things that came out about it was the continued discussion about regionalization, and that there is something of an appetite among some government officials, namely the Senate President Sweeney, with whom Oroho mentioned he gets along with very well, despite the fact that there are political differences there. But the appetite might not be the same at the highest levels.
Anybody else? Okay, other business? Very good. Sorry. Yeah. So now I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're up.